turn him over. I feel a heartbeat. I don't see him breathing.
The news of Rich Homie Quan's death has sent some shock in the hip-hop world. Tributes have streamed from several fellow artists, fans, and those who have just recently known the artist. Many showed their disbelief and sadness over the tragic loss of Rich Homie Quan, including talents like Quavo, Offset, and Boosie Badazz, who were among many artists that mourned Quan publicly. It's saddening how death seems to be the one thing that brings people together to celebrate a man's life. Really sad. With the news of his death came different stories on why he died, and of course you can expect some unbelievable reports. Amongst such is the one that seems to be gaining attention from all and wide. Rich Homie Quan seems to have died from an overdose. Is that really true? Could the artist have been dealing with many things and he didn't speak out? We'll find out. But before then, what do you love about Rich Homie Quan? His music streamed almost twice as many times as it had on the streaming platforms like Spotify in the days after his death. Listeners revisited his earliest hits and reflected on how he affected the genre and what he brought into Southern hip-hop. He was that talented. Quan's longtime girlfriend Amber Williams was most definitely broken about his passing. She posted a sad message on her social media as a way of showing the devastated feeling over his death. "This pain is unbearable," she expressed. "The love you all have shown is an overflow. I truly appreciate everyone who's reached out. I'm traumatized from a moment that'll forever be in my head. I have nothing to prove because my love for my other half was always shown. I had nothing to hide." The scenarios leading up to Rich Homie Quan's death, when closely observed, paint a picture of a man who was most likely fighting some or many inner demons. On September 5th, 2024, Quan was found unresponsive at his home in Southwest Atlanta. According to a police report, Quan's brother, Andre Munford, found him lying on the floor of the kitchen around 3 a.m. with food in his mouth, which at first should have been seen as unusual. Munford later put Quan on the couch, tossing a blanket over him, and did not seek immediate help as he thought Quan was sleeping. Later that morning, Quan's girlfriend, Amber Williams, was getting up to take some of her children to school. She also found him still on the couch. Like others before her that morning, she too didn't immediately act with the realization that something was awfully wrong. It wasn't until later that morning when she came home and found his body cold and unresponsive that she then called 911 immediately. After her discovery, Quan was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital where he was pronounced dead. While the cause of death wasn't known at the time, early reports indicated that Rich Homie Quan died of an apparent drug overdose. Cops found no foul play and labeled it an accident. Terrible. This threw followers and fellow artists into total disbelief. Most did not have a clue about how worse Quan was struggling. While multiple reports have suggested that the father of 5 died from a drug overdose, the Fulton County Medical Examiner told Fox 5 they are awaiting autopsy test results before releasing the cause of death after the autopsy was conducted on Friday. His father, Corey Lamar, also came out to speak about the unbearable pain regarding his son's demise. Corey said Quan was working hard on new music and eager to share that with the world. His death not only deprived his family of a loved one, but also denied the world of music what might have been a monumental return. Rich Homie Quan was born to Quan's Devontae Lamar on October 4th, 1989, right in Atlanta, Georgia, and rose to fame in the early 2010s as one of the more unique voices in Southern rap, thanks to his melodic flow and an ability to blur the line between rapping and singing. Quan's rise was swift, with the singles Type of Way and Flex making him a national name. Behind this public face of success lay a series of personal challenges that might have ultimately culminated in his tragic overdose on September 5th, 2024. Success did not come easy for Rich Homie Quan, especially being born and raised in Atlanta. He had initially dreamt of playing professional baseball, but turned to music after serving a sentence in prison. His life in the streets and the little time spent in prison influenced his lyrical content because most of his songs spoke about misery, trying to make it through, and survival. He came onto the scene in 2013 with a single Type of Way which appealed to not just his Atlanta fans, but also many listeners across the nation. He specialized in Southern trap mixed with a sing-song style rap, making him different from many others in the industry. In no time, he found himself working alongside the biggest in the game, such as Young Thug and Birdman, forming pieces of the Rich Gang Collective. This collaboration resulted in some of his most memorable tracks, including Lifestyle and Milk Marie. Rich Homie Quan became synonymous with the Atlanta sound, repping the city on a global stage. To prove his talent, he was nominated for various Bet Hip Hop Awards, including Best New Artist and Best Club Banger in 2014 and 2015. Commercially celebrated, Quan's career nevertheless survived through turbulent waters. He soon fell out with Young Thug and the Rich Gang Collective. The falling out was very public. Besides this issue, his career was also plagued by many legal issues and label disputes that frequently interrupted his music output. Despite all these setbacks, Quan remained unfeigned and was an adored figure in hip-hop, with many fans always anticipating his next move. As much as Quan's public persona was more about his confidence and bravado, many people did not know him and his personal demons. This is the common tale of many artists and music people only find out after their death. Only a handful fully speak out, and when they do, not many get the help they need. Quan might have struggled with substance abuse, which might probably be a factor in his untimely death. Through interviews during most of his career, Quan had spoken about the pressures of fame and how he struggled to work out the music world. Apart from the legal cases, problematic relationships, and incessant stress that lived up to the mask and his competitors, the rapper struggled with personal issues. Quan tried to put on a tough exterior, but it soon became became obvious that the list of problems was taking a huge toll on his mental and physical health. By 2024, it was reported that Quan had been working on new music. He released a 25-song album entitled. The artist made a large-scale comeback from the period when he had relatively kept silent until his death. Rich Homie Quan's life was supposed to be a life full of promise, a career that should have worked its way to huge success, but at 34, Rich Homie Quan's life is over. With serious struggles against addictive vice and the pressures of fame, he succumbed. The early death is a sober reminder of what many artists have had to face backstage, away from the prying eyes of the public. Quan has a huge influence on hip-hop in general, but his influence in most parts of the Atlanta state scene is impossible to quantify. He was an originator of the melodic trap sound, now omnipresent in commercial rap. The ability to place emotional vulnerability on a rap with street narratives made Quan special, and his music touched the hearts of many who listened to his music. Though his life was cut short, Rich Homie Quan leaves behind a legacy of innovation and authenticity. The contributions he made to hip-hop will continue to live on, and his music will remain inspirational for many future generations of artists. But as the loss of this brilliant star is close to the hearts of his family, fans, and fellow artists, the indelible mark he left on the world of music is even closer. Let us not forget, as fans, that celebrities are human and have their own battles and vulnerabilities. Rich Homie Quan's story serves to remind us of how vital mental health is and the support system that must be embraced along with the limelight within the industry. His life might have gone out in tragedy, but his music and spirit surely live on to remind one of the immense talent lost a little too early in life. And to family members, it is important to check on people while they sleep, especially if you find them in states that aren't common with them. Want to know more? Like this video and subscribe to this channel for more content like this.